Hi, so you're thinking about moving to Seattle, Washington, maybe Auburn? Well, in today's video, I'm going to take you into my computer so we can get to know the area of Auburn, Washington. What are the highways that go through it? What are some fun things to do? Where are the main high schools? Things like that. So if that sounds of interest to you, then stick with me and let's get after it. Hi, if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know about moving to Seattle or the suburbs around it, then subscribe to my channel and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market in Seattle, Washington. Hi, I'm Kelsey Anderson, and we get contacted all the time from people just like you looking to make their move to Seattle or the area around it, and we love it. So whether you're looking to move now or in a little while, get in contact with me using the description below so we can help you make that smooth move to Seattle. Now, let's jump into it. As I was saying, we are going to get into my computer. So let me show you Google. Here we are in my computer, and I want to start off by showing you where Auburn is in relation to Seattle, because you might know where Seattle is depending on if you might be moving around town and you live in Washington, you're coming from out of town, you may not know exactly where it is. So Seattle is right here. And right down here is Auburn. Auburn is a town with 85,000 people. It is the 14th largest town in the state of Washington with a median home price of $568,000. And it's also considered the gateway to Rainier because in a lot of Auburn, you can see the beautiful Mount Rainier and those snow caps at the top, which people just tend to love. So I want to show you what is Auburn close to. So the important things that people care about besides just Seattle, we've got, I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit so you can get a little bit better view. So going to Seattle, it is about 35 minutes. Okay. 35 minutes, it's about 26 miles. So if you're going straight there, it might take you 35 minutes if there is no traffic on the road. But if there's traffic, it could take you up to 1 hour to get into the city. So if you go into the city for work a lot, that might be a deal breaker for you living in Auburn. But what's closer is Tacoma and the SeaTac airport. So I'm going to zoom in even further here and show you. Here is SeaTac right here. Okay. So again, look how close that is. We're talking only 10 miles from SeaTac airport. So if you have to travel a lot for work, that's going to be a huge plus for you. SeaTac is a lot closer to Auburn than going all the way into Seattle. So again, about 10-15 minutes to get to SeaTac when it's about 35 minutes to get into Seattle. Another huge draw for people is maybe you don't have to work in Seattle, maybe you work in Tacoma. That's another major metropolitan area close by, and Tacoma is right here. So again, going from Auburn to Tacoma, it's only about 14 miles. Again, a lot closer than going all the way into Seattle. So if that's of interest to you, lots of fun things to do in Tacoma. It's right on the water, so it's kind of cool for people. So that's kind of cool. So those are the big things that Auburn is close to. We're going to jump now into the freeways that run through. So if you're going down 405, okay, which runs through Bellevue and Renton, things like that. If you keep going on 405, you will see it runs into 167. So right here, it's like an offshoot of 405. You can head south on 167. And then 167 takes you all the way down to Auburn. Okay, so 167 runs through Auburn, goes north to south. And you're going to see that it parallels over here, I-5. So it's paralleling I-5 going north to south, and it takes you through that west side of Auburn. Okay, going from east to west is Highway 18. So Highway 18 connects over here from 5 and goes all the way over here. Highway 18 is going to take you east to west through Auburn, and it's going to connect you. If you look at this top part of the map, it connects you to 90. So if you are looking to go to Snoqualmie, you want to do some river rafting, you want to ski at Snoqualmie Pass or Alpental, things like that, then you'll just take Highway 18 going northeast all the way up to 90 and connect going east that way to get to the eastern part of the state or the mountains in between. So those are the main highways that run through. The next thing I want to show you are the main neighborhoods in Auburn. Now, there's a lot of main neighborhoods. I'm just going to focus on a few, but I do want to show you a cool map that sort of shows you the layout of these main neighborhoods, depending on where you could be possibly purchasing a house. So if you look at this map, you will see West Hill, which in some of my other videos, I do show you some homes and some different price points in this, but that's in another video. You see over here, this is Lee Hill, another neighborhood I'll talk to you about in just a moment. Lakeland Hills or South Lakeland is right in this neighborhood down here. And then you, of course, have the downtown area, which is just that centrally located area of Auburn. If we can kind of picture, these neighborhoods are sort of up on the hill. It literally says Lee Hill versus West Hill. And then South Lakeland Hill is south here. And then it's also called South Lakeland. But then the downtown area, all of this, even part of Rivers Bend, North Auburn, it's sort of like in this valley in the middle of those hills. So that's kind of how the neighborhoods look in Renton. Again, we're going to go into a little bit more depth of that here in a second. So if I zoom in here in my Google map, I'll be able to kind of show you some of those 4 areas I just mentioned, and I'll give you a little bit more of an idea about the home prices in those areas and sort of what those areas are known for. Another video will go into more neighborhoods and a little bit more depth. So let's go ahead and start up here in Lee Hill. Lee Hill has a great variety of neighborhoods. You're looking at prices in the 600,000 to 1.1 million range. A lot of newer neighborhoods have gone up as the population of Auburn has greatly grown since the 1850s when it was first established, of course, but they've seen tons of growth since 2020, just like other areas like Kent and Renton have seen as well, as so many people have come to see sort of the beauty of the Pacific Northwest near Seattle, Washington. So you'll get lots of established neighborhoods in Lee Hill. Again, I'll take you on a closer tour of this in a different video, but Lee Hill is a very popular neighborhood with a little bit of a higher price point when you consider that the median price is $568,000 here in Auburn, Washington. Another neighborhood I want to go into detail a little bit is just the downtown area. So downtown is like right there. And the median home prices are a little bit cheaper. You are closer to downtown, so there's just more people kind of going in and out, which might come with a little bit more kind of petty crimes, things like that. You don't have as much privacy just because your home is downtown. So the prices are closer to 400 to 800,000. A little bit on the lower side of that median home value of Auburn. And downtown Auburn is extremely charming and cute, and they have tons of events, and it's located literally in the heart of, sort of in the middle of the town of Auburn. The other neighborhood is called it West Hill, and it's kind of like the North Lakeland area, which is over here. That's more Federal Way area. But over here in West Hill, there are homes that range in value between 500 and 900,000. Many of the homes, and more, but those homes are definitely more established. You have homes with greater acreage, things like that. They do still have some newer developments as well, but many of the homes are older, built in the 80s and 90s, things like that. So the price point is a little bit more moderate, still on the upper range of the median home value in Auburn. And then the most expensive area is down here, Lakeland Hills. So right here, I'll show you where that is on a map. Lakeland Hills is going to be, it's kind of special because it's close to Lake Tapps, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Lakeland Hills is sort of its own little community down in the south part of Auburn. And prices for homes are going to range between $600,000 and $1.4 million. And even a little bit above that. But you can see the price point's a little bit different. Life down there has kind of more things that you need close by. So that sort of drives up the price point a little bit, as well as the proximity to areas like Lake Tapps, which is a highly desirable area in this part of the Puget Sound. So my next topic, which is schools. So there are 4 main high schools in Auburn. I'm going to give you an idea of where those are, especially if you have kids that are going to be going through the Auburn School District or live in Auburn and will be going through the Federal Way School District, just so that you have an idea of where the schools are located to kind of help you make your decision. And these are going to be a little bit general because it's a little bit hard from a map to know exactly where they are from this angle, but I'm going to give you my best sort of estimate knowing this city. The first one I want to show you is Thomas Jefferson High School. This high school is actually a part of the Federal Way School District. Federal Way is over here. It is the city that's directly west of Auburn. Kent is the city directly north of Auburn. And a lot of Indian reservations are over here to the east, as well as going over to Black Diamond. But most of the schools here in Auburn are part of the Auburn School District. But the first one is in Federal Way, like I mentioned. So here, it's about right here. Okay, that's about the area of Thomas Jefferson High School. Over here in Lee Hill, sort of on the border of Auburn, it's about in this area. That's going to be Auburn Mountain View High School. And then in the downtown Auburn area, we've got Auburn High School. That is in downtown, like right downtown Auburn. So that's the high school there. And then down south here to help out these South End folks don't have to go all the way north for high school. Auburn Riverside High School is about right there. So 3 Auburn high schools in the city of Auburn. And then there's also a high school that Auburn residents will go to that's actually in the Federal Way School District. Like I said, that's Thomas Jefferson High School. There are also 6 main middle schools scattered throughout Auburn and tons of elementary schools scattered all the way through that. So what I do like about how this map shows is that it definitely sort of spreads things out and shows you that the high schools are definitely, they cover a good geographical area. So no matter where your family decides to relocate, there's probably a high school close by. Now we're going to get to what are the fun things to do around Auburn and where are those things located? So we're going to start out with Emerald Downs. It's highlighted here on the map, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you as well. Let's do stars for this. So Emerald Downs is right here. That's famous for horse racing, things like that. I've gone to that since I was a kid. Didn't ever grow up in Auburn, but Emerald Downs is just a place that everyone really knows because there's like big events on holidays and just throughout the year. So if horse racing is your thing, or that sounds like a fun thing to go do some betting, that's your spot for that. And that is located up here in Northwest Auburn, right off of 167. So pretty easy access. The next thing that visitors love to do is Muckleshoot Casino. They've recently expanded. They have a hotel. It's like a whole resort now. It used to be just a casino. Now it's an entire resort. They've got a bingo hall across the street, like 3/10 of a mile down the way. But the resort is huge. They've got restaurants. They've expanded the main hall of the casino. Sort of just a fun place you could go if you're into gambling, or if you just sort of like that vibe. There's a whole slew of things you can do at Muckleshoot Casino Resort at this time. So that's a really big draw in Auburn. Another huge draw is right here, the Outlet Collection Seattle. Pretty cool. Auburn has its own major mall, high-end stores, middle range stores, all the things. You don't have to go all the way into Seattle or Bellevue to shop that big mall. You don't have to go out to Tukwila to South Center. You've got this amazing outlet mall right here in the city. So that's pretty cool for a suburb town where you're a good amount of minutes out of the big city. It's nice to have a big mall close by. Another thing is Lake Tapps. So you'll see on just the southeast part of this map, you see Lake Tapps. So just wanted to show you right down here, Lake Tapps. So that part of Auburn borders Lake Tapps, and that is a super fun area. I'll show you around a bit just to kind of give you an idea of all the water sports. People just living on the shores, having a great time in their backyard. There's also several public beaches, some that you have to pay to go to, some that you don't. But all the sort of water sports you could need are right there at Lake Tapps, which definitely drives up the price in that Lakeland Hills neighborhood in South Auburn. But that can be a really big draw for residents, especially if you're not used to having those lakes nearby. And a couple more things in Auburn that are just sort of out of the sort of official proper Auburn boundaries are some places like the Flaming Geyser State Park. That's located out east here as you're going towards Black Diamond. It's just this crazy thing, has to do with like the river and pressure and the gases, and it literally forms this like geyser of gas that people love to go see, and it's kind of always working and thriving and cool. So that's an awesome spot to go visit. And then also out beyond the proper boundary of Auburn, but still a big draw for the area, is Pacific Raceway. So car racing, not common in this area. That's one of its kind. And then also, if you are an enthusiast for outdoor concerts, we've got the White River Amphitheater. Here it is. Here it is, right there on the map. So again, a little bit southeast of Auburn. It's only about 8 miles out of sort of Auburn proper, but right there is White River Amphitheater. Again, a lot of this land is on the reservation, Indian reservation. So that's why it's not doesn't show a particular town, but it's just right outside of Auburn. So many fun things to do in Auburn. For high schools spread out, close to Seattle, close to Tacoma. Lots of things, I think, to do around Auburn, and it's got great access with freeways. And one other cool thing that I didn't even show you was this really cool Green River runs all the way through this. You can see this as I'm sort of zoomed out here, but it goes all the way through here. So you've got a lake at the bottom, you've got a river that runs through it. No alluding to the movie, but just lots of cool things. I hope this map video was helpful. I hope you learned a little bit more about how the city of Auburn, Washington is laid out. And if you like these videos and you want to know more, especially at the current market in Seattle, as it pertains to housing, or just what are the towns around Seattle like, then again, make sure to subscribe to my videos and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market. It has been fun having you today, and I will see you around town. See you soon.